So let's hop right into it. Last week, we talked about why it matters to be an insurance agent or life insurance agent. And this week, we're going to talk about a similar theme. Today, we're going to look at why agents fail out of the business. And hopefully, we're going to be able to provide some tips so you guys are able to avoid some of those practices that end up resulting in someone failing out of the business. We want you to be as successful as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it helps that I was an agent for at least a short stint. Um, when you said turnover, I think that's important as well because there is a ton of it. So
Mhm.
whether you're new, whether you've been here forever, there's turnover in this field. It's a tough field to work in, but the emphasis on this video is about why it can be the agent's fault, like what they are specifically doing that sets you up for failure immediately.
Mhm.
And what we've seen time after time here, what we've seen in, forums with how active Nick and Jeff are across all platforms with everything, we see a lot of just communications between agents that are doing great, that are failing. And, one thing that I put together specifically for this video is agents don't understand how the market works, the life insurance market in particular.
And is that because of lack of exposure to the industry, or is it because only they have blockers on, they're only seeing certain parts of the industry, right? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, that's some of it. And another big part is they want to play businessman in the wrong parts of the business. So a lot of times, you get excited to an agent will get excited to file their LLC or go get an office. I went and got an office, kid you not.
Mhm.
Huge mistake back whenever that, but completely off topic.
The big ticket things that people think that they need to get to start a business.
Yeah, they want to do all of those things. And that's awesome that the enthusiasm's there and that the drive is there and that technically the ethic is there, but it's in the wrong spots. It's not in where the revenue is made in this business. So, one of the formulas that you can kind of put into practice or think about if you want to figure out why they fail or what you can do to succeed would be a huge majority of your effort should be focused towards marketing and sales. So, all of those other business activities that you could be doing, are not the most important right now. So, in order to make a profit in the life insurance business or any kind of revenue, you have to have leads. That's your inventory. We've heard Jeff say that how many times, or Nick say that how many times. Without it, you're basically dead in the water. So, without leads, no sales. And how do you get leads if you're not purchasing them or working with some kind of brokerage or IMO that offers you some kind of lead program, right? You have to market yourself. So those two things really are all that are driving revenue. That's it. So all of the things like printing business cards or doing the things that you think people that own a business should be doing are completely irrelevant, especially in the beginning before you can get a consistent flow of business coming in. So you need to be focused on finding a lead source that you trust and that you can make a profit on and actually working it or building marketing channels that are going to consistently bring you leads. Those are really the two activities to focus on. And so many agents fail because they get stuck looking at the shiny object syndrome, right? They're looking at everything else. They want to dip their toes into every pool and do everything, and it just doesn't work. There's not enough time in a day to survive this business if you don't focus on marketing and leads, hands down.
Mhm. If those are the things that you should be focusing on, could you kind of break it down? How much time should be allocated to each one of those?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I think everybody is going to have a different number in mind here. Longer you've been in the business, the more you can shift some emphasis off of one spot into another. But in the beginning, if it was me and I was doing it over, I would go something like 75% marketing, 20% sales, 5% everything else, right? So I'm putting the minimal amount of effort into everything else. And I'm either, when I say marketing, that doesn't mean you have to do it yourself. That means figuring out a marketing source, perhaps. So somebody to provide you the leads, doing
Mhm.
that part, and then building off of that or beginning to build your brand if you're doing local sales. If you once you find, here's an example of shifting those percentages. Let's say you have your trusted marketing source, or not to gloat us at Digital VGA by any means, but say you're working with us and you have leads that are coming in because we take care of that for you. Now it should just be sales. Like you're just focused on sales. flip that percentage because you don't have to do that by yourself. So this isn't geared towards our agents though. This is geared towards agents everywhere trying to figure this out. So the percentages will change, but in the beginning, lump those together if you want. It should just be like 95% effort into marketing and sales and 5% into the rest. Like leave it
Yeah.
to the side and forget about it.
Yeah, this doesn't even feel like something that it's applicable to only insurance agents either. This feels like this is applicable to anyone that does sales.
Yeah. Or anybody, maybe it's not even sales, but it's anybody running a business. I mean, if you're running, I guess it's all sales, but
Mhm.
you know, landscaping companies, roofing companies, like I'm sure sometimes these companies get started and it's the same issue, right? You got to get customers and you got to find a way to get seen by customers. It's the two biggest things that you're going to do. Moving past that part of it, let's jump into number 2. And this one, it's hard to put all of these into, like a ranking system of why agents fail because everybody is a unique story. But something that I've seen as a common theme since being in the industry in general is agents typically just have super unrealistic expectations, right? So you're coming from a job where you've seen that you can work remote, or you've heard from a buddy that started at a local insurance shop or a mutual company, the kind of money that you can make. And it's always some kind of number that's astronomical because, like, spoiler alert, the number is huge. You can make a ton of money in this industry, a ton, but that's sometimes the expectations people have day one, right? Well, I can leave and go do this because I can go make $250,000 a year. Or everybody else online is finding leads no problem. They're just making phone calls and they're making sales. These are just examples, but it's a very common theme that it will be easy and a ton of money and it's just going to fall into my lap, and it's an unrealistic expectation. It takes a lot of work to get to anything remotely close to that point.
Mhm.
To put it on autopilot, it takes a ton of work to get to that point. Are both of those possible? Yes, which is the awesome part about it because there isn't a lot of job fields where you can quit a stable job now and end up making a $500,000 within a few years, right? But to get there, I assure you, it was some blood, sweat, and tears to get there. It was not easy, but it is possible. So just agents quitting is number 2 then on why agents fail out is they thought it was up here. They don't want to do the work that it takes to get there and they're done with it, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I do you know who Rob Deerdeck is?
I do not.
Okay, he used to be a professional skater. He now owns a company called the Deer Deck Machine. I watched a video of Rob, and he was talking about what somebody can do to succeed. And his number one tip was just don't quit. Everyone will succeed if you just don't quit.
Yeah.
E- Eventually, if you put enough time into it, you're going to succeed. I mean, the time that it takes one person versus another person might be different, but at the end goal, you will succeed as long as you just don't quit. That's the only key.
Yeah, we used to always say you're one lead purchase away from like breaking through, right? So the last one, it's like, oh, this one tanked, and I think the sales percentages on this specific source is terrible. Or you have a chargeback happen and you think that you just wasted all of that revenue you had. And that can sometimes be the moment you quit. And a lot of times it is one lead purchase, 1 month, one just push through, and then the breakthrough happens, and then you're moving, you're going. And it's a huge part of it is just sticking with it and trying to manage expectations. Another part of unrealistic expectations is a lot of times you see the ability to get into this career, this job, this building your business as nothing but money, right? Because again, the money can be huge. And then you turn that into everything is money. And that's your clients you're turning into money. And that is a
Mhm.
huge recipe for failure in this industry is your clients become dollar signs to you. Because you know what people can do better than anything today is they can smell that from a mile away. And when it comes to products like this that they don't have to buy, this isn't car insurance. There's no legal obligation to own this in order to operate a vehicle on roadways. They can say no for the rest of their life if they choose to. So if they think that they're just a dollar sign to you, they're not going to buy it. So the unrealistic part of this is thinking that you can get away with that in this industry, and you can't. You need to have that side of you that cares about protecting families or protecting their financial futures if something happens. That tends to be a really high success rate when we see people that are super passionate about this product. We just talked about it last week. If there's passion behind it, it goes so far in this industry that it's probably the biggest game changer there is the passion. So that's another part of unrealistic expectations is just putting a dollar sign on everything that's in this business. With that, another one that we see all the time is you think that you can do it without help, right? You can be your phone system, you can be your lead provider, you can be your marketing, and you can be the sales guy. Um, I mean, good luck because that's really tough. I don't think I've seen that outside of a very select few, and they're literally at the top of their game. It's
Mhm.
not possible, and they're not even really doing that. Honestly, I don't even know why I said that. Like they still have help in all of those departments. Like the unrealistic part is thinking you can and you can't. You need somebody to support you with technology. You need to be able to automate flows. You need to automate communications. You need to
Scripting.
scripting. You are not going to be the best salesman and script writer. You're not going to be the best lead generator and best salesman. You might not even be the best salesman, and you'd be better off being in charge of people making the sales for you, and you're a better marketer, right? There's a lot of ways to be in this business and learning what you can be the best at within it and not being the jack of all trades, because the jack of all trades typically does not get the job done here. And it's a big reason why people fail is they try to do that. With that being said, flipping this to not only why agents fail, but a piece of advice would be to lean on somebody. That doesn't mean it has to be an IMO or an agency or a brokerage. Lean on somebody who's killing it already because they've already been through something to put them in a successful spot, right? And it wasn't pretty, most likely, especially in this field. Some people in other fields might have gotten to a pretty spot a little easier, but I've yet to, I don't know if you've seen it, David, but I've yet to see somebody who's crushing it in this industry that hasn't been through a little bit of hell to get there.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's true. And usually those people that have gone through that, they're the ones that are the most willing to share the information and share the struggles that they went through. So they become mentors to others. It's
Yeah, and
usually how it goes.
it's so huge in this industry. Even when I did it for a very short stint, having, even if it's somebody that's not better than you necessarily at sales or whatever part of it you're putting all of your energy into, the frustrations that can build on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and the strain that that frustration can put on your family because that's the
Mhm.
only person you have to talk to about it. Just having somebody to be like, man, today sucked. That can be what you call a mentor. Ideally, you want somebody to also teach you the ropes, but just having somebody to, discuss the pains and struggles of the business is going to be a huge relief for you to be able to not fail out.
Let me share this with you. Obviously, if you guys don't know, what I do here is all the media, the commercial creation. Um, I have a buddy of mine that is a showrunner and director at Nickelodeon. He and I hop into a call every single night at 9 p.m. And when I say every single night, I could pull up my phone log and show you. Every single night we hop in and talk about what we're doing. And eventually it's become a situation where not only is he mentoring me, he has far more experience than I do in what we do with visual effects, animation, media creation. But now I've also started to mentor him back because I'm learning things on my own. You need that relationship. I know we're talking about it right now, like, hey, this could help you to have someone to get this. Go find this person.
Yeah.
Go find something that can help you with mentorship. It will take you to the next level, and it'll also bring excitement into what you do to have a conversation outside of your workday where you're just geeking out about the things that are going to make you better. It's going to give you more passion. It's going to make you better. It's going to make you a better technician in what you do. Find this person.
So with this mentor that you're speaking of that you use, David, it makes me think about another huge point or factor into failing for life insurance agents is they think that they can be done learning. So let's say that they have broke through some of those initial barriers we talked about, and then they have 4, 5, 6 good months, right? And then a lot of times we see that kind of flat line or even start the decline back down because you think that you've got it, right? You think you can be done learning, and it's the opposite. It actually gets a little bit harder because the second you figure out something in this business, it changes like that so quickly. And you
Hmm.
have to continue to be on top of it. And if you're always staying on top of it and moving with it, you'll continue to grow and exceed your own expectations. But the individuals who think that they can be done learning really struggle. And I mean, you can continue learning in so many ways. Like the world has made this easier than anything else we do is learning. You have
Yeah.
YouTube, you have this video right here. You have masterminds like what we put on at Digital BGA. You have other groups. I mean, David, I don't know where you communicate with your guys at, but like Discord is a huge community for, I don't think that that's necessarily for life insurance agents. Maybe that's more of the forums for agents, right?
Hmm.
But it's an example of how easy it is, no matter what niche you're in, what you're doing is there's places where everybody's talking about it. You just have to find it and continue learning and growing.
Yeah. Yeah. If you look, you shall find. There's so much out there, and people think that they need to buy the course, right? Buy the $500 training course on how to sell whatever you're selling. You can just look it up on Google, look it up on YouTube. Discord, great mention. I really think that I'm sure there's channels on Discord for insurance. I'm sure there is.
Yeah,
Tel-
probably.
Telegram, another great place to go for specific channels. There's resources out there if you look for it.
Next, guys, is maybe more common than the first two, in all honesty. This is probably the biggest problem in this field, especially going out and doing it on your own, right? Because it's exciting. It's easy to spend money, but cash flowing this business is tough. And that's the number one reason agents fail is they run out of dollars. It's not only tough, but it's expensive. So, Nick and Jeff have talked about this. I can probably more than 10,000
Yeah.
times in the
I
last.
was just about to mention that Jeff, when he did his hot points video, he was like, cash flow is huge. Get a credit card for your business. That's the outside your personal that you can put the money on so you're not running out of dollars to spend on leads.
And I'm not going to even go into specifics on how to cash flow because we have a video on this channel about how to do that. This
Hmm.
is more about if you're a brand new agent or somebody thinking about becoming an agent, why they fail, right? And it doesn't mean that you're destined to run out of money. It means you need to go into it realizing that if you're not careful, you will. Your money should go to leads, which in turn make you sales and then turn back into leads. It should not be go into leads, not really work the leads very hard, and then go work on other parts of your business that cost money that are not going to make you any revenue, or just taking money from the revenue you make and using it for personal expenses. You should be just paying yourself a salary in most cases, taking that instead of just draining your business at all times. So, cash flowing the business is why agents fail. And what you can do to avoid that is just be careful and understand that leads go back to our tip number one leads and sales or marketing and sales. Those are 95% of what you should be doing. Where do you think 95% of the money coming in should be going? Right? Only if it's going to create that should it be spent. I just make a commandment for life insurance.
Yeah, yeah. That,
Only
that
if it,
that we should do that for a video. The 10 Commandments of life insurance.
only if it make money shall it be spent. All right. So to recap, number one, just not understanding the market, which means not understanding where to invest your time. You need to be investing your time into revenue generating activity, marketing and sales. If you can find marketing, focus on sales. Number two, unrealistic expectations. Thinking this is going to be easy when it's not, and just not having the proper mindset, right? So, thinking that everything is dollar signs, thinking that you know everything, and thinking that you can do everything without any support. That's the quickest way to sum up number two. Don't do it alone. Don't do it for the wrong reasons. There's number two in a summary. And number three, spend the cash on the things I just said in number one. That's the simplest way to put it. All right, guys. So that is why agents fail. A couple quick tips on what you can do about it. We didn't dive into detail on what you can do about it. There's other videos on this channel that you can lean on for that specific information. Again, we really like to make videos that are going to help the most of you, the masses, as possible, right? So drop some comments. Let us know what you need specifically. You got the media ninja right there. You got marketing help. If you have specifics on that, we'd love to hear it. Drop those comments, hit the notification bell, and be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can watch all of our future content coming out. We hope you guys are having great holidays. Wish you a Merry Christmas, and we'll catch you in the next one.